Hello, hello, hello. Hello, lovelies. Hello. Um, you might as well put the kettle on or get your refreshments of whatever sort. If you're stopping in for a read, this reading will be aimed for my young fellas who are having a bit of financial difficulty at the moment. Um, so we're gonna do a Ching I Ching investigates. Where is the money? Because that's what they want to know. They've been having some difficulties, and we're going to see if we can get some clues. So yeah, if you're a young fella, get your refreshments. This one is for you. You might want to put it on in the background or something while you do something else, because it could be quite a while. We'll start with the coins. See what the sage has to say. That was the question that was approved. I've got all these decks of cards. It's all going on here. So we'll do a deep dive today. And I Ching investigates, where is the money for the young fellas in my collective who are doing it tough? Now, when I thought, I had to try and ask some deeper questions, get some deeper questions cleared with the sage. And no, just wanted the really flat out real base one, where's the money? And so the money we're referring to is the money that's awaiting you. It's money to be discovered. It could be wealth in other forms, but we're going to sort of stick to money. Although it may be saving money or whatever, we don't know. But it's not about money that's been stolen or lost, okay? We're not going to try and find money that seems to have slipped away for whatever reason. We're going to try and tap in and find some seams of money for my young fella collective, all right? So we'll start with coins. Dear Sage, for the highest good of, and of course, anyone's welcome to watch the video. It's just that I have quite a diverse collective. I've got older empress ladies who are fully set up and totally autonomous, and I have young pages who are just beginning at 17 and 16. So this is for my young fellas. But of course, if anyone is interested, they're more than welcome to watch. I just thought it's, where the money is for my older, more wealthier men is probably not in the same places as it is for the young men or the young group I've got specifically here. And, what the empresses who are later on in their life want to do is probably something different. So we're just focusing on this specific group, rather than doing a star sign reading, for example. We'll do young men, young fellas today, okay? So for the young fellas who are financially challenged, where is the money? Please, Sage, for the highest good of the people watching this video, particularly the young fellas who it's aimed for, and anyone else who's affected, the highest good of all. Where is the money for my young lads? Okay. 3, 6, 8. So that's a broken line. Where's the pens? This pen. Okay, so we're starting with a broken line. Where's the money, dear Sage, for my young fellas? Tails, heads, tails. So that's a yang line. Coin. Where is the money, dear Sage, for my young fellas, and most particularly, but anyone else who has tapped on the video, who may be in on this reading? Where's the money, dear Sage? 3, 6, 9. Okay, we've got our first moving line. A yang moving line. 2 more to go. Where's the money, dear Sage, for the highest good And we're not just talking about any money here, obviously. The kind of men who are watching my video are super ethical and intentional, creative, clever, and sensitive, but they haven't got a lot of skills yet. So they're like young magicians in the making. They don't already have all their certificates. So what can they do in the meantime? And the other thing that's a yin line. The other thing about my collective of young fellas who are in financial difficulties is that it's not really their fault. They're just in difficult circumstances, like in countries that or places that don't have a flourishing economy or a lot of opportunity. Like Uganda. One of my young fellas is in Uganda. All right. So 3, 6, 8. All right. Oh, I see. I can already see something developing here. You've got hexagram 32, which is called usually something like duration. And you've got moving line in the 4th place. You count up from the bottom. So the bottom is 1st place, the top is the 6th place. You've got a moving line in the 4th place. So that changes to 46. I'll show you how that works. That. Okay. All right, so do we want to do another hexagram straight away for my young fellas who need to know where the money is? Do we want another hexagram straight away? Yes. Okay, so you're getting another one straight away. We'll get more clues this way. This is quite the deep dive we're doing today. 3, 6, 8. So that's a yin line. 2, 4, 7, that's a yang line. Okay, 3 tails, that's a moving yin line. 3, 6, 8, that's a yin line. 3, 6, 8 again. Oh, this is starting to look interesting. All right, one more. Okay. So 2, 4, 6, that's a moving yin line. All right, so the next hexagram you got was, it's hexagram 7, which is the army. And it changes to, I didn't leave enough space on the paper. Okay, I'll just fit it in this corner here. It changes to, let's see. One, 2, 3. Changes to 18, which is about decay. Repairing the decay. All right, so let's have a quick look at this. In sequence, you start with 32, which is duration, and then you get 46, which is pushing upwards or ascending. Then you get 7, which is the army, which changes into 18, which is repairing the damage. So let's look at this on a fairly superficial level first, and just be a bit flippant about what it says, and then we'll look at it more seriously. All right, so duration is all about keep going, right? It's just about, like the seasons keep turning and you keep going. But in this particular thing, you've lost something something happens where, what's that line 32, hexagram 32, line 4. It's something about something getting away from an opportunity. You losing something, but it's for your good. I'll have to look at that more carefully. All right, then you get 46, which is pushing up. So the first thing that happens is that you've been doing something for a while and you're about to, we'll have to check out that moving line in a minute. You're about to lose something or whatever, which is going to make things easier for you. You will have a period of pushing up. But then you get hexagram 17, which is the army. And so it's about a war taking place. So that can be like a conflict or a war within yourself or a difficult situation you have to overcome. It usually involves other people. And it's got good and bad lines. You get good and bad lines. You get line 3, which is about somebody carrying corpses from the wagon, which is very inauspicious. But then you get the top line, which is about that you win the war, but be careful not to start another war. And then you get line 18, which is about repairing the damage. So there seems to be a bit of loss and gain, like losses leading to gain, which lead to losses, which lead to gain, and there's something to repair at the end of it all. So we'll look a bit more carefully now what it has to say. Let's have a sip of water. And I'll pull some cards as well. Maybe we'll pull cards first, just a few to get some context while we read. Now, specifically, you ordered some angel cards, so we'll just pull a few angel cards and see how they might relate. Okay, I might pull one on each hexagram, which I don't usually do that, but I just got told to do that, so I'll do that. Okay. Dear Sage, let's have an angel card for each hexagram, please, to sort of clarify what's going on. Okay, so hexagram 32, which is about continuity, endurance, continuing. But you've got this moving line in the 4th place, which is losing something, which we'll look at it. We'll look at that in a minute. We will get there. Okay, so for hexagram 32, we're going to have this card, which is emerging. Ah, that makes sense. Okay, for hexagram 46, which card are we going to have? Study. Okay, we're already getting clues here. You may be leaving the environment you are in now to study something, or a situation that you're in now to study something. Okay, for hexagram. That was miracles jumping out. Just note that it jumped out and see what if it wants to come out again, it will. All right. For hexagram 7, what card, please, dear Sage? For my young fellas who need to know, where is the money? Okay, it's got guardian angel. For hexagram 7, so this battle or this war or whatever, you're going to be guided through it. And for hexagram 18, repairing the damage. Forgiveness. All right, so there's going to be something to forgive by the look of it, or maybe forgiveness is the damage that, like, that's how you repair. There's a grudge or something that needs to be forgiven. All right, so let's look at these hexagrams. We have hexagram 32, which has emerging as the card, the angel card over it. That's emerging there. So what is 32 and emerging doing? Endurance, it calls it in here. And I've got the I Ching for writers because you're writing your own story. And we've also got one, which this is the very complicated in-depth book. So we'll start with the easy bit. Like I promised you, this is going to be a deep dive. It's going to take a while. Okay, so 32, hang, endurance. After years of working crap jobs and raising kids and trying to write, I realised I needed to write things I could finish and be done with in a hurry, hence poems and stories. That's a quote from Raymond Carver. Okay, another quote from Elizabeth Hardwick. Writing is so hard, it's the only time in your life when you have to think. All right. So, right up, I guess the first thing the sage is telling you is, young man, you're only at the beginning of your journey. You've got to have to endure for a while yet. You know, like you're running a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, that's the first thing I'm getting. And because you're just emerging, you're just at the beginning, or you're just beginning to see some results. Either way. Right. In this hexagram, thunder above springs from wind below. Perseverance is required if lightning and its dangers are to be averted. So right, endurance, perseverance, so you stick-to-itiveness. This hexagram indicates the importance of endurance in the ever-shifting partnership of writer and writing. So remember, you're writing your life story as you live it. So you may not literally be a writer, but because you're writing the story of your life, that's how come we can still use this book. So when we say, you know, you're writing the story, just imagine you're writing the next chapter in your life. Seasons, days, planets and moon all have their own rhythms. You must develop similar habits of regularity, endurance, a familiar beauty returning. Okay, so it's talking about good habits over a long period of time. Endure because it keeps you safe and allows your work to ferment in a beneficial fashion. Work fermenting. I wonder if any of you are brewing beer or ginger beer. But no, just fermenting. Oh, fermented foods. Hey, how about some fermented foods? Could you make pickles or something? Endure because it keeps you... Okay, so your work has to mature is basically what it's saying. Your work needs to mature. If you follow the inner laws of your being, what you write will endure for generations. Advisory. Do not try to force writing out of yourself if the time is not right or the effort is not sincere. Thunder and wind are signs of impermanence, but permanence of their nature is the same as yours. Reoccurring patterns become enduring cycles. Okay, so whatever you're going to do, you're going to be doing it over a long period of time with endurance through the seasons, and it's probably going to have a cyclical aspect to it. Be aware of your own patterns of behaviour, patterns of writing. Nurture those patterns even as you acknowledge the impermanence of rituals and works. For the writer, what does sanctuary look like for you? Is it in the woods? Does it have a religious aspect? Is it part of community, or is it solitary? Is it a cave or a tree house or some other dwelling? Write 2 pages about a sanctuary that would nourish you. Well, I guess seeing as you're looking for money, so I guess you want to know what you want to spend it on. Like what's like at the end of the work day, where do you want to come home to? Do you want to come home to a tree house or a cave or a lovely apartment in the city, or a penthouse, or a, you know, like, so I guess you need to have a goal. you need to visualize what you're working towards, I guess. And same goes for your job. Would you like to work alone, or would you like to work a part of a team? So you might want to examine those things. What kind of a building would you like to work in, or would you like to do outdoor work? And what kind of place do you want to come home to after work? You know, what are you going to do in between work for rest and recreation? So I guess you want to look for work that is close enough to a place where you can have sanctuary at the end of the day too. Alright, so those questions there for you, that's your questions. What does the sanctuary look like to you? You have to answer these questions. Is it in the woods? So, you know, where do you want to work? Where do you want to live? Do you want to live in the woods? Is there a religious aspect to what you do? Is what you want to do a part of a community, or do you want to work alone? And so it's suggesting that you write down what you would like to manifest, a couple of pages about what would be ideal for you. And I think that's a pretty good exercise, because you can, I've done this before, and you can just put it in a drawer or something, come back a few years later and discover how many things on the list actually did manifest. It can be quite surprising. Excuse me. Alright, so you got line 4. It says, you will not easily find a way to endure. Even worse, persistence is not enough. Okay, so don't get your hopes up too easy. It's just like, okay, it's going to be hard work. Even worse, persistence is not enough. Change your definition of endurance and your strategy for enduring. Okay, so maybe you've been trying to endure in the wrong way or at the wrong thing. Write 2 pages in which you describe a sanctuary that will crumble to dust in a day. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was talking about in the beginning. This line 4 is a bit of an annoyance because it usually means you lose something. But it turns out that it was a good thing to lose. But at the time, it doesn't necessarily feel like it. It's one of those redirections sort of thing. Excuse me. Okay. I'll just move the... let's have a look at this. Do you want me to read the whole thing or what? For these follows. Which bits do we want to read here? Wow, it's quite a bit. Although it's not that much. Okay, well, look, we'll check for each paragraph, because this is the de-spelling book, and it might be something very specific in here for you, which is, we don't often get told to use this book, but when we do, we have to be thorough. Okay, so first paragraph. Yes, okay. So first paragraph, we're just going to read the paragraph that the sage says to read. So this paragraph is 3 yeses, so this is important to you. The judgment. Success, no blame. Perseverance furthers. It furthers one to have somewhere to go. In this hexagram, the sage describes the way of the cosmos achieves constant evolution of its consciousness and creates enduring conditions through transformation, which is different to change, because transformation is permanent. Okay. Next paragraph. Are we reading the next paragraph? No. Okay, we're skipping the next paragraph. Okay. The paragraph after that. Yes, okay, so this bit's important. The principle is duplicated in the relationship between the psyche and the body. But that doesn't make much sense without the paragraph before. But anyway. The wholeness of the personality is ensured by the natural attraction between them. This is natural attraction becomes disturbed when the personality is mentally divided into parts, with one part being elevated over another. Okay, so what it's talking about is to see yourself as a whole, that both parts of yourself are equally important, your mind and your body. I think that's right. So there's something about, between the psyche and the body. So you have to do something that works for both your mind and your body. You have to bring your mind and body into alignment. Sometimes the sage helps you find something. Like, we're looking for money at the moment, but sometimes it has to get things out of the way so you can find it. So maybe there's one of you here or a couple of you here are trying to do something that's not going to endure because your mind, your psyche and your body don't both agree on doing this thing. Like, your mind's telling you to do this job, but your body doesn't want to go. Or you've got the strength to do it, but it's not mentally satisfying. So what it seems to be talking about, you need to achieve harmony between your mind and your body. Like, they need to be in alignment, whatever this job is. And that's maybe why this opportunity is falling away, because it's not bringing harmony to the mind and the body, potentially. We'll have a look in a minute. But so it's just talking about needing your mind and body to be in harmony. And so maybe something you're doing is not allowing that. Oh, I've got a really bad frog in my throat. Okay. So you can't make your body you can't put your body above your mind or your mind above your body. They have to be of equal importance when you're choosing your direction. Okay, so that's important for someone. Next paragraph. Okay, the next paragraph's important. Since duration is a characteristic of the nature of the cosmos, every aspect that is in harmony with it participates in its duration. So, right. So if something doesn't last, it's because it's not in harmony with the true nature of the cosmos. Since duration is a characteristic of the nature of the cosmos, every aspect that is in harmony with it participates in its duration. So, if you're in harmony with the cosmos, then you get to endure. This is why returning to one's true nature, which is synonymous with returning to unity with the cosmos, is the overall theme of the I Ching. This return is achieved through a step-by-step process in which the individual rids himself of all mistaken ideas and belief that keep him in the parallel reality created by the collective ego. So there's a parallel reality created by groupthink. And in order to return to harmony with the cosmos, which is where all your abundance and everything is, you have to deprogram wrong ideas from groupthink, the collective ego, that you've been taught to by society or school or whatever, or your family. So it's pointing to the idea that there's some false ideas in your mind that are getting between you and your money. Okay? That's what it's trying to tell you. It's getting in the way of the harmony of your mind and your body and your harmony with the cosmos, which is then blocking your money. So you need to get your mind and body in harmony and get yourself in harmony with the cosmos, and then you will have wealth that endures. But anything that's not in harmony is going to be taken away. And so if you're not in harmony, then the reason is because you've got some false belief that's been installed in you by society or whatever, by the collective ego. Okay. So your job is to find the false beliefs that's getting in the way and deprogram it, which, that could take a bit of investigation, looking into yourself. So where were we? This return is achieved through a step-by-step process in which the individual rids himself of all mistaken ideas and beliefs that keep him in the parallel reality created by the collective ego. The individual attains duration not through an effort to cultivate virtues and become anything, but through freeing his true and original nature from the inner prison of his mistaken ideas and beliefs. So what it's saying here is that you don't have to become anything. You are already enough. That you, my friend, have everything that you need to succeed. That you have come complete, and your original true nature comes with all that abundance of the cosmos. But there's some false ideas and beliefs that are getting between you and your abundance, or you and your money in this case. All right. I need a eucalyptus slowly. Very coffee today. All right, so next paragraph. Okay, so 3 yeses for this next paragraph, so it's really important. I'm just going to have a sultana. Now, this is a good little trick. Having a box of sultanas in you. Because they're so cheap, they'll keep you going. Little hits of fruit sugar. There's like something like 6 of them for $3.50 or something. So they're like 50 cents each or so. I don't know exactly. I didn't work it out, but that's enough to keep you going. When you're really... I remember being broke and not having the money to buy lunch at work. But taking a box of sultanas or an apple or something can keep you going. All right. So the next phrase is really important. Next paragraph. Okay, so this is of critical importance to someone in my collective here, that you know this. You've got 3 yeses on that this is important. Unlike the cosmic reality, the parallel reality created by the collective ego, that's another way of saying the matrix, basically. I mean, this book was written before all the matrix was released, I think. So you could just say the matrix, but we'll call it the collective ego because that's what the book calls it. So, but it's another way of saying the matrix. Okay. Unlike the cosmic reality, the parallel reality created by the collective ego does not endure because it is based on mistaken ideas and beliefs about the cosmic way. When a person, through holding to such mistaken ideas and beliefs, violates cosmic harmony, the cosmos responds with a fate. So it's possible that you might be enduring a fate because you've acted out of a wrong idea. I'm not saying that's the case, I'm just saying it's possible. Fate is a part of the laws of physics and has the purposes of restoring cosmic harmony and helping a person to return to unity with the cosmos. It does so by decreasing the ego in him, thus bringing him back to humility. Alright, so there's an ego problem somewhere for someone. And it may not, it's not necessary, like ego can be fear. Ego can be thinking that you're not good enough. That could be the false idea that you have that's getting between you and your money is that you're not good enough, or you're not qualified, or they would never pay me, or, you know, it might be something like a negative self-belief you're telling yourself. Or, I mean, it might be the opposite too. It could be that you think you're qualified and you're not, and you just need to go and study. But it's basically saying that, at least for one of you, you're suffering a fate because you're labouring under a wrong idea, and once you remove that wrong idea, the fate will come to an end. So it might, you know, getting in contact with your money, finding your money, that your stream of abundance that's hidden in escrow for you. Basically, part of your job is to search yourself for ego ideas that might be incorrect. I mean, most of the ideas that the ego has are incorrect. So there's some egoic thing that you're looking at your situation with, and I can't tell you what it is. You're going to have to find it yourself. You're going to have to look within and think, is that my true self speaking, or is that my ego telling me that? And it's likely if it's really negative, it's your ego. And it's likely if it's overconfident, it's also your ego. You want a nice humility, but without feeling hopeless. Or, you know, like a gentle humility where you're confident, but you're not arrogant. Okay, next paragraph. Okay, next paragraph is really important for someone. So here we go. This is really important for someone. The parallel reality, as in the Matrix, is characterized by changes. These changes are brought about by the use of power on the part of humans, and the cosmic response to it in a form of fate. Okay. So it's basically saying that using power might have brought a fate on somebody. My coffee's arrived, I think. Or my coffee or my cat. Thank you so much. Oh, I really needed that, thank you. This should stop me coughing, a bit of coffee. Yum. Now where were we up to? So, where are we? Parallel reality is characterized by changes. These changes are brought about by the use of power on the part of humans, and the cosmic response to it is a form of a fate. Okay, so somebody, it doesn't necessarily have to be you. It might be somebody else that you're working with, potentially. I don't know why I'm thinking to say that, but it could, because sometimes, if you're working with groups of people, sometimes if you're really in close association with people, you can share their fate as a group. So if you're working with a group and the group is doing something that's wrong, they're using power as in force, using power as in force, making something happen rather than letting it flow. Right, they've done something, or you've done something where you've used power to make something happen, and that's why you're getting a fate right now. So you have to stop trying to make something happen and get into a flow state. And the way you do that is by taking away the wrong idea that caused you to use power in the first place. And a classic way that can happen is like your ego says, if I don't do something about it now, it's never going to happen. And so I better go and push this to happen. And then, the cosmic timing's not quite right. So you've, maybe in being pushy, you've upset someone, or, it's like trying to take the cake out of the oven before it's baked kind of thing. So that's happened for someone in some way. It doesn't have to be you. It could be someone near you, or it could be... And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a big thing. It's just that, sometimes it only takes a small kink in the hose to stop the water flowing through the hose. It's like your stream of abundance wants to come to you, but you have a wrong belief that's like creating a kink in the hose kind of thing. So once you just undo that belief, then it can flow again. There may be a little bit of time where it just sort of has to rebalance or whatever, but once you've taken away the problem, then the healing can begin. So now it goes into the main false beliefs that affect your ability to have continuity and connection with the cosmos, which is getting in the way of your money potentially, okay? So, among the main mistaken ideas and beliefs that create the parallel reality, which is the matrix, okay? These are false ideas and beliefs that make the matrix, okay? Number 1. So, if you've got any of these ideas, you need to deprogram them within yourself in order to get closer to your money, basically, because if you acting from these ideas is causing a fate which is getting in the way of you connecting with your cosmic harmony, and your cosmic harmony is where your money is, right? So these are false beliefs that need to be deprogrammed, and you'll know if one of them jumps out at you that that's probably the one. Okay. Among the main mistaken ideas and beliefs that create the parallel reality, the matrix, are the presumptions that, number 1, humans are at the center of the universe, or, anthropocentrism. We're not. We're not at the center of the universe. Okay? So that idea creates fates, which is, that happens all the time. Humans don't cooperate with nature. They try and work against nature to fight nature, and then, you can't fight nature. That's just dumb. Nature's always going to win. So they create problems for themselves that get very expensive by trying to fight nature rather than cooperate with nature. So that's one thing that creates a fate. It's the idea that humans are at the center of the universe. Maybe something you want to do you have to consider some other life form. Maybe you can't do something in particular because there's a river there. I don't know. But for somebody, that's important. Okay, number 2, changes are the rule of life. So that's an untrue statement. Number 3, nature operates through opposite forces to propel changes. So that's an untrue statement. It explains later on that they're not opposites, they're complementary. And there's a slightly different, it sounds the same, but it's not, because opposites repel and complementaries attract. Number 4, these are all false beliefs that make up the matrix. Time is linear, having a beginning and an end, right? So time doesn't have a beginning or an end, and it's not linear. Number 5, the universe works on mechanical principles. Okay, it doesn't, because it's conscious. The universe is conscious, that's why it's not working on mechanical principles. Number 6, the cosmos has a hierarchical order. Now, who doesn't believe in that one? Nearly everyone I know believes that. But that is a false belief that's a part of the matrix. Number 6, the cosmos has a hierarchical order. Oh, we just did that. Sorry, beg your pardon. All these ideas create discordant fields of consciousness which compete with the cosmic order and its principles of harmony. I'm just going to read them again. So check yourself if you believe any of these things, you're going to have to work on undoing that belief because it's getting between you and your money. Number 1, humans are at the center of the universe. False. Number 2, changes are the rule of life. False. Number 3, nature operates through opposite forces to propel changes. False. Number 4, time is linear, having a beginning and an end. False. So you could go back in time and come at things again. You can meet up with your future self or whatever and have a conversation about what to do. So time is not linear. Number 5, the universe works on mechanical principles. False. It works on principles of consciousness. Number 6, the cosmos has a hierarchical order. False. It works on principles of equality. Okay, all these ideas create discordant fields of consciousness which compete with the cosmic order and its principles, of harmony. They separate humans from the cosmic unity. And the cosmic unity is where all the abundance is. Everything you need is in the cosmic unity. It's like God has everything you could possibly need. So once you're connected to God or cosmic unity, then you have everything you need. So what's getting in the way between you and cosmic unity is those beliefs, those matrix beliefs. Okay. Hopefully something's starting to stir. All right. We're already 47 minutes in and I told you this could be a 3-hour reading. Like, feel free to watch it in 3 parts if you want. Okay. Or at least an hour and a half. Okay, Lord, do they need the next paragraph? Yes. Okay, so this is not as important, but it's still important. When fate is not recognized as help from the cosmos to make a person aware of his mistaken ideas and belief, but is taken as a punishment, the blame he puts on the cosmos creates a new fate. Okay, right, so the cosmos is trying to help you, and if you blame it, then you get even more. It's like misidentifying the villain, right? That's not going to help. The cosmos is your friend. It's saying, it's got everything there for you. You just have to get rid of these false ideas first before you can access all the things you want. So don't blame me, sort of. Okay, next paragraph. Yes. Okay, that's a 2 heads yes. The human longing for duration comes from a feeling memory imprinted within each individual, reminding him of his original unity with the cosmos, which has been lost. Okay, so the reason you're not connecting with your money is because your original unity with the cosmos has been lost because of these matrix ideas that have been programmed into you that you have to say no to and deprogram. So it's not your fault. It's important to know that. All of society, religion, the capitalist system, whatever you want to call it, the slave, the matrix. The matrix starts programming you from the moment you're born. So this is not your fault. That's important to know, that you shouldn't feel bad about this. It's just lucky that you're getting the clues now to undo the matrix programming so that you can get your money. Okay. The human longing for duration comes from a feeling memory imprinted within each individual, reminding him of his original unity with the cosmos, which has been lost. This memory resides in every body cell and is what the I Ching calls a person's inner truth. The judgment. It furthers one to have somewhere to go. is to make him aware of that possibility of restoring unity is always present. So it's saying, like, anytime you want to let go of these matrix beliefs, you can restore your connection to the cosmos, your unity and harmony with the cosmos, and then everything else you need will flow from there. So anytime you want to do that, you can. The cosmos is not going to, it doesn't have opening hours, let's say. The hair's getting in my eyes. Where's my clippies? So do we want to do the next one? Next paragraph, Lord. Yes. Okay. The collective ego's answer to this longing for duration is its emphasis on and mania for attaining bodily longevity and immortality through leaving behind works that bear one's name or through acquiring fame. The pursuit of physical longevity as leading to immortality has persisted from the time of religious Taoism and various ancient practices, such as specific kinds of yoga, all the way to our time. Today's medicine and health fads, while not concerned with immortality, are similarly preoccupied with maintaining the body to great old age at all costs. I don't know why we're being told that. Next paragraph. No. So the next paragraph we don't have to do. Okay. Paragraph after that. Okay, yep, so, okay. One type of spell connected with this hexagram has to do with issues of time. Okay, so it's starting to give you clues now about what's getting between you and your money. Okay, you've probably got some spells on board, things you're telling yourself that involve always or never. Okay, it says, one type of spell connected with this hexagram has to do with issues of time. Phrases that imply always or never in regard to how long something takes. Create these spells. So be careful of making that affirmation, because every time you say, I never have any money, what are you doing? You're putting a spell on yourself. You say, I never get paid enough. That's putting a spell on yourself. But it's also saying you shouldn't also do it the opposite way either, because it's still a spell. Because it's to do with passing time, and time isn't the same thing in the cosmic, the greater cosmic, what do you want to call it, order? I don't know. Okay. Phrases that imply always or never in regard to how long something takes create these spells. Examples are, this is going to take forever, and I will never get there. Another type of spell is created by generalizations such as, the whole world is against me, and changes are the rule of life. Okay, so you're telling yourself something, or the matrix, someone from the matrix is putting that on you, or just, it doesn't have to be someone specifically. It could be just, that was programmed into you by your school or your religion or whatever. But it's saying, basically, to look out for phrases like this with always and never, and generalizations about the world being against you, or changes are the rule of life, or whatever. These could be getting between you and your money, because they're not true. When you have wrong ideas, you're not seeing the world clearly, and so you can't access what you need to access. Okay, so that's the main text. Now we get to line 4. It's 3 paragraphs. I'm just going to read it all because I think it's important. No game in the field. No game in the field in this line is a metaphor for either an apparent or a real misfortune. It can refer to a person who sees misfortune where there is none. For example, he has lost his job and sees it as a misfortune, whereas the loss is really the end of a fate created by a false sense of loyalty to which has held him in an unsuitable position. So, rejection is protection kind of thing. You're not losing things, you're being released from fates that you've completed. Or the job loss may have been necessary for him to connect with the elements in himself, such as his inner truth, that have been left behind or buried by wrong ideas. The new situation, okay, so some of you have just lost something, a job, a place, a title, a venue, I don't know. You've lost something. But it's saying don't be worried by it because it's actually freeing you up. The new situation gives him the opportunity to rid himself of the rigid ideas that have been preventing him from fulfilling his destiny. So it's a whatever you lose right now, it's so that you can get closer to your destiny. It's getting in the way. Whatever you're losing right now, it was getting in the way. No game in the field can also refer to a person who, in seeking the cause of a real misfortune, is looking outside, as in the field, rather than inside himself, where the true cause lies. So it's saying, don't look outside yourself for the cause of the misfortune. Look inside yourself. No game in the field can refer to a person who, in seeking the cause of a real misfortune, so in some cases the misfortune is real, and it's not a happy thing, like no game in the field, we were just talking before. Sometimes it's a real misfortune, but you're looking to blame somebody else, and it's actually you've got to look inside for the cause. So there's two different scenarios there. One is that you've lost a job and that was for your own good because it was getting in the way of your destiny. The next one is saying you lost something important and you're blaming it on something outside of yourself, but it's something inside of yourself. Okay. Here, the game may be a projection, spell, or poison arrow that has been put on him. So somebody might be projecting onto you and you've taken on their projections. It might have happened to you when you were really young, saying that you were this kind of a person or that kind of a person. It might not even be true, but you believed it or just took it on and it's not true. Where was I? Here the game may be a projection, spell, or poison arrow that has been put on him either by himself or another, or certain mistaken ideas he has adopted. He needs to identify them with the help of the sage and the RCTM to deprogram them. So what that's saying is that you need to get 3 coins and look at some of the beliefs you're holding. And it's probably something that you say to yourself all the time. It usually is something that you don't even realise is saying to yourself, or that you don't realise that other people are saying to you all the time. So it's about awareness, like intercepting the thoughts. So as you're going through your day, notice what kinds of thoughts are, especially if they're limiting or defeating thoughts, negative thoughts about why you can't have something or do something or why something is always this way or that way. And you need to check with the sage with the 3 coins whether things are true or not. So 3 heads is yes. Yes, 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 very true. And tails is no, no, no. So the more heads, the more true it is. The more tails, the more untrue it is. So what are we going to do with the RCTM? That's retrospective coin throwing method. So he needs to, so you need to try and find out what mistaken ideas you have adopted or somebody might have even put on you. You need to identify them with the help of the sage. So you might have to ask, like open yourself up to guidance, ask to have ideas come to you. So the help of the sage and the RCTM. So you go, is it this or is it that? Try and find the cause of your fate. Which idea is getting in the way? And then deprogram it. By looking outside himself for the cause of his misfortune, he has blocked the helper that ends fate. So all the help you need is within inside of yourself to deprogram these false beliefs that the matrix has been programming onto you. So it's basically just just to summarize all of this, don't believe the matrix. The matrix is a slave system that's keeping you away from your money. So, look at something that the matrix has been telling you that's dead wrong. Might be one of those things we listed earlier that's dead wrong, that's getting in the way of you and your money. Okay. This line can also point to a particular spell that has created a fate, misfortune. It is composed of 3 components. The phrase, man is man's worst enemy. The self-image of a hero who fights evil. And a third party which has been defined as an enemy or as evil. The person has been unsuccessful in trying to overcome his fate through fighting something or someone he assumes to be the cause. Okay, so if you're trying to fix it by fighting someone when they're not the problem's inside of you, or it's a false belief or whatever, and you're trying to fix the problem by fighting something outside of yourself, it's not going to work. That's all it's saying. So you think the person has been unsuccessful in trying to overcome his fate or his misfortune through fighting something or someone. So it can be a something, it doesn't have to be someone. You might have been fighting the weather, you might have been fighting, I don't know, the market conditions, fighting the way things are in your town, I don't know. Unsuccessful in trying to overcome his fate through fighting something or someone he assumes to be the cause, but they're not the cause at all, of his misfortune. He needs to be aware that his fate can only be extinguished through ridding himself of the spells that cause it. Okay, so basically your fate is caused by a spell, and it's probably put on you by the matrix, although you may be doing it to yourself. So what you need to do is go through your belief systems and look at where you go, always, never, or, basically making assumptions that aren't true. You're telling yourself things that aren't true, and they're getting in the way of you and your money. So once you do that deprogramming, then you get hexagram 46. Now, I won't read hexagram 46. I might read it from the little book here. But it basically just means progress. It's just like you're pushing up. It's like it gives the image of a seedling coming up through the earth. So it's like a breakthrough. You're like, it's not like breakthrough, like a massive breakthrough. It's like where it's sudden. It's more like it's just like a seedling coming up through the soil and spreading its little leaves and then growing a couple more leaves. And so it's all it's like a gentle ascension, but it's like basically heading in the direction of where you want to go. So I'll read it from here because it'll be nice and quick from here. So that's good. The main thing that's getting between you and your money is false beliefs. That's good. It's not like that's actually very empowering because it's not saying that the problem's outside of you. It's actually saying most likely it's a belief that you have that you can deprogram, and that's going to open up the way for you. So the next thing that happens after you do the deprogramming, you've got to work with the coins, try and figure out what your false beliefs are that the matrix has given you, deprogram them, and then it says, Ching, achievement is near. Woohoo! So we've got to start with a couple of quotes and then we'll just read the main text. It's very short. You write a book and it's like putting a message in the bottle and throwing it into the ocean. You don't know if it will ever reach any shore. And there you see sometimes it falls in the hands of the right person. That's from Isabel Allende. And the next one is from I don't even know how to say that, Corregresson Boyle? That's a funny name. Well, T. Boyle, let's say. My advice is to beginning writers is that a large part of writing is simply to stay with a project. Every story, every novel has to be completed before I move on to the next one. I'm very single-minded and very obsessive. Commentary. You will progress from obscurity to influence, from solitude to having your work read by a group. Of what size is not clear. Your work will grow in prominence and power. Take care to develop the final drafts of your work without hurry and with confidence. They will reward your care. Your work will be successful. That's the prediction. Right. So, advisory. Do not hurry as you put the finishing touches on your manuscript. Remember, you're writing the story of your life. Or the next chapter of your life. You're writing the next chapter of your life, right? So, it's an analogy in our case. Do not hurry as you put the finishing touches on your manuscript. Take it slow and easy because that way will lead to near certain success. Do not pause in your efforts, but also do not be sloppy or quick. Enjoy the process. Then your audience is sure to enjoy it too. Right, so for part one of our reading, we've got basically the job loss or the situation loss or whatever, that you lost was for your own benefit. It was getting in the way of your destiny. And now the other thing that's getting between you and your money is your false beliefs. So once you figure out what false beliefs or ideas you're labouring under and deprogram them, then you're going to have pretty solid progress. Like, what does it call it in here? I need another word because progress is actually the name of hexagram 35, so it's not really right to call it that. What does it call it here? 46. Pushing upward. Being lifted up by the helpers. I like that one. Being lifted up by the helpers. So once you deprogram these beliefs, you get cosmic assistance. It's like the cosmos comes along and goes, oh, I'll give you a leg up, I'll give you a hand up. Let's get up now. All right. So that's the first half of the story. But then you get into hexagram 7. So it's like you get rid of this problem and then you're going forward for a while, but then you run into this other problem here. So it's a bit of a process you're going to have to go through by the looks of it. So, okay, and when you're being lifted up by the helpers, that involves study. So study is going to help you. You just need to upgrade your skills is basically what I'm getting. There's basically something you want to do that you like to do, and you've been telling yourself you can't, or some idea or whatever's gotten in the way of you being able to do this. Then once you deprogram these limitations or whatever, these matrix ideas that are stopping you from pursuing your what you would like to do, then you can upgrade your skills with some study, I think, and that's going to be fairly smooth. You could be an apprentice or something too. It doesn't have to be formal study. It could be, on-the-job training or something. But you're going to be upgrading your skills, and that's going to go fairly smoothly. And, a period of good feeling like that the universe is helping you along a bit. But at some point then, after that's been going on for a while, you get to hexagram number 7. Now that's a more difficult hexagram. And you've got 2 moving lines there, so let's have a look at that. And the card that you had over that hexagram was Guardian Angel. So when this difficulty comes, don't worry, okay? You're going to expect it. You have to deprogram these ideas, and then you're going to be upgrading your skills for a while. And at some point, I guess probably somebody's going to start notice it, or, get jealous or something, I don't know. Or have an issue with something you're doing. There's going to be some kind of group conflict or something. And it's telling you already, don't worry. Your angels are with you through this. So you can see it coming after a period of skill upgrade. Then there's some kind of tumultuous situation here, which we'll have a look at. But already it's telling you, don't worry. There's the person worrying there. Can you see the picture? She's worrying there. She's got her hands in her head in her hands. But the angel's just there going, don't worry, we can see you. We've got it all sorted. Right? So when this battle, or it says here, be strong, when hexagram 7 comes up, after you've got this period of being lifted up by the helpers from deprogramming the false beliefs and upgrading your skills for a while, then you get hexagram 7, and what's it called? The army. So it's all about being strong, or the army, or having, that could be literal for someone, but it's more like probably just being a part of a team, or having a battle on your hand. It could be read different ways, but it's something that you're going to have to be strong for. So I think I will do both books for this because it's quite a serious hexagram. So be strong. Writing is an intellectual process, so it is good to root the process into your stomach, your heart and your bowels. Maria Irene Fornes. Every woman who writes as a survivor. Susan Griffin. Commentary. This is both an auspicious sign and a warning. Yeah, it's one of those both ways kind of hexagrams. When all forces are arrayed against you, so yeah, you're going to run into some kind of opposition at some point. So there's you get through the first bit, then you get a bit of a run for a while, and then you come across some opposition. When all forces are arrayed against you, you can run and hide, or you can face the adversity squarely. Both stances are appropriate at different times. This hexagram does not prescribe which stance to take, but it suggests, however, you meet conflict, you must learn to show strength. An unexpected setback will affect your work. When you show real strength of character in the face of this disappointment, the setback will be transformed into something more positive. Or it could be the same. I'm now beginning to doubt that it's a timeline progression. I'm starting to think that this could be related to the loss in your first hexagram where you lose something. It might be describing the same situation again. It might be just telling you more about what this loss is here. Well, there's some sort of an unexpected setback in the beginning, at least one, but it's don't worry. When you show real strength of character in the face of this disappointment, the setback will be transformed into something more positive. Advisory. It is easy to appear strong as you face off with the blank page day after day. However, any writer knows the difficulty of maintaining discipline and confidence in the craft of writing. Every writer knows that no past success guarantees future accomplishment. Look deep inside yourself and realize that being square with yourself is the most important source of strength. Okay, alright, so maybe it's a battle within yourself even. That's the potential too. You might have to face off with yourself. Write the story you know you should be writing, not that one which is easiest or best pleases the crowd. Persevere. So remember, you're writing the chapter of your life. So write the chapter in your life, the one that you know you should be writing, not the one that best pleases the crowd or the one that's easiest. Write the chapter in your story now that you know you should be doing. Write a story in the style of magical realism about an old woman who keeps praying for salvation. Alright, so your moving lines. So 6 in the third place you get. We'll have a look at this in the other book too, because it might be a spell or something you need to deprogram. Bad luck. Unless you lead others strongly. If you're in a writer's group, coordinate its exercises at this time. If you're writing for publication, write strong and persuasive query letter. Write a page or two in the style of magical realism about a haunted house. Erase no single word. Let your first draft be your last draft because you get it almost right the first time. So it's a warning that you're going to need to be strong. Alright, we'll just look at that one in this. See if there's any spells associated with this. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to have to fill you in a little bit here so that you understand where this is coming from. So in this version, there's been some kind of a battle that's been going on. And in line 3, which is what you get, I'll just read it to you. Okay. So, line 3, perchance the army carries corpses in the wagon, misfortune. This line indicates that the turning point in the battle being carried out by the cosmic army has been reached. Up to now, the job of the true self as its initiator has been to keep the ego from entering the scene. Invariably in such situations, the person has withdrawn from conflict with another into neutrality. Withdrawal temporarily shuts down the aperture of the heart. Okay, so your heart's gotten closed because of some fight. Misfortune means that the closing of the heart has been seized by the ego and held as a sort of ransom. It says inwardly to the other, before I open my heart to you again, you must humble yourself by begging forgiveness or making restitution. This seizure of the heart by the ego, so, somebody might have some issues with resentment or something that are getting between them and their money. The seizure of the heart by the ego has injured the person's helper of the heart, rendering it ineffective. Oh, that's another thing. There's a lot of your money comes through your heart energy. So if your heart's really bitter and twisted on you, you've got holding resentment or anger in your heart, then that makes it harder for the money to flow to you. But here it's actually talking about you holding a grudge towards somebody in particular, which is cutting, it's shrinking your heart, which is making it harder for you to manifest money. So, because we're talking about money in this reading. I mean, this line could be applied to anything, but we're talking about money. So, anyway, the seizure of the heart by the ego has injured the person's helper of the heart, rendering it ineffective. The corpse mentioned is the other person who has been mentally executed by this action. So someone's dead to you. You've closed your heart to them and they're dead to you, and this has caused a fate. Before any healing of the situation can take place, this helper needs to be asked to reopen one's heart. So obviously it's not an easy thing to do, otherwise you would just do it. That's why, because it's not easy, that's why you ask for cosmic help to do it. Because the cosmos doesn't expect you to do hard things on your own all the time. Sometimes you have to, but in this case it's saying, look, we know you're really hurt, so you can ask us for our help. This helper needs to be asked to help reopen one's heart. This is possible if he will rid himself of the ego's demands. In all situations involving the cosmic army, that's the cosmic army who fights for you. That's why it's called the army too. It talks about the cosmic army who's fighting for you. In all situations involving the cosmic army, the victory sought cannot be achieved if the heart is kept closed. Right, so healing your heart is a major part of getting you back to your abundance. And, part of the reason your heart is closed is because someone's really pissed you off, really hurt you, or ripped you off, or whatever the fuck. And you've had to, in order not to be angry and horrible to them, you've had to shut your heart down, which has helped you to behave yourself, but now it's hard to manifest money because your heart is like a money manifestation portal in some ways. So you need to open up your heart again, but because it really hurt or was annoying or made you angry or whatever, it's not easy to open your heart again. And because it hurt your ego, whatever it was that made you close your heart. So you've got to work on your ego to get your heart open so that your manifestation can flow. But because it's so hard, because it hurt, you have to ask the cosmic helpers to help you heal your heart and open it again. Okay. Corpses can also refer to a person wishing for another's death. Okay, so if you're wishing for someone else's death, that's not good energy. It doesn't attract abundance to you. We all get pissed off sometimes. But if you wish someone death, that's not good for you either. Obviously you shouldn't be doing that sort of thing, but it's also not good for you. So such a wish is a poison arrow that needs to be removed. So if you wish someone death, you need to take the poison arrow, the psychic poison arrow, out of their heart or their back or wherever you sent it. Take it away and just remove those spells and poison arrows from anyone that you might have put them on. This line can also indicate that a person is acting from passive-aggressive behaviour due to having lost his ability to say no to an authority during childhood. Yeah, we've all been there. This loss has deprived him of certain benefits of his common sense. So you need to be able to say no. Someone's trained you when you were young to say yes to something that you really wanted to say no to. And now that you're older, you're allowed to say no. It's your sovereignty. And saying no is part of getting your energy back. So this loss has deprived him of certain benefits of his common sense. One of them being able to receive, chi energy from the cosmos, right? So not being able to say no when you need to stops you getting energy from the cosmos that you need. This deprivation has caused him to carry an inner grudge, which he takes out on others by employing tactics to anger them, while at the same time appearing to be an innocent victim. Okay, so someone is poking the bear. In this way, he draws the chi energy he needs from them. The corpse, in this case, refers to his disabled helper of common sense. So if it's not you doing it, it may be someone doing it to you too, and you may have to ask the sage for help with deprogramming that. If someone else's ego is doing that to you, you have to ask the sage to please intervene with their ego so that it can be healed. But if you're doing it, obviously, and if it's a compulsive behaviour, then once again, ask for help from the cosmos, from the sage and the cosmic helpers. If you're having trouble fixing a bad behaviour, ask for help with it. So the corpse in this case refers to his disabled helper of common sense. It can be recovered if he asks for help to recall the childhood situation that caused him to lose his ability to say the inner no. So it's a childhood trauma, probably. Corpses can also refer to a person's common sense that has been overwhelmed through his placing responsibility for himself upon another person. So are you expecting someone else to look after you when you should, or, some aspect of your life when it should be yours to deal with? And of course, you can't, if it's yours to deal with and you're expecting someone else to deal with it, then, it's not going to get better until you take on the responsibility yourself. If you want a job done properly, do it yourself, right? Especially if it's yours to do. His common sense can also be overwhelmed through his placing credence on existing beliefs. This misfortune he suffers is the defeat of his inner dignity and self-esteem. Right, so just feeling humiliated, basically. Something might have made you feel humiliated, and you were put in that situation because of a wrong idea. And if you heal the wrong idea, you can free yourself from the situation and get your self-esteem back. Corpses in a cosmic meaning can refer to the ego elements in oneself or another that have been conquered, such as pride and vindictiveness, both of which were interested in keeping the war going. As a result of the person's effort at freeing himself from these elements, they are now being taken away in the wagon, which is a metaphor for the helpers that clean up the battle scene, and the helper of transformation that restores a person to wholeness. Right. Now, the hexagram... Oh, okay, we need this. Sorry, one more moving line and then we'll move on to the last hexagram. Okay, so you've got hexagram... we're on hexagram 7, moving line 6 now, which is where you win the battle. Okay, so there's a bit of a battle within yourself about false ideas and false beliefs, and obviously some resentments and grudges, rightly or wrongly. I mean, it's not saying that what the person did to you was okay or anything. It's just saying that you carrying around anger and resentment in your heart is blocking your manifestation. So you need to find a way to be able to heal that and open your heart again. Doesn't mean you let them get away with BS or anything like that, or repeat bad patterns. You just understand that they're labouring under some false idea that made them behave like that. They didn't know any better. Or if they did, if they did, they would do better. I mean, you would hope they would. Sorry. Let's just leave that there. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. We're trying to concentrate on this. Okay. 6 at the top means You should not settle for inferior characters or lines in poetry or praise. So, you should not settle for inferior characters in your life story. You must be ruthless in choosing what words or passages to delete. Write a page or two in the style of magic realism about a cow that doesn't give milk. Then go back and take out every adverb or adjective. Okay, so don't worry about that. Let's read this bit here. Strength is always relative. You may not feel strong because you are surrounded by insurmountable tasks or by people who are stronger than you. But each of us is born with the capacity to cope with the experience given to us. Each of us should recognize this life as an opportunity to practice equanimity, to see that the greatest strength is to recognize our weakness and not mind it. Okay, so we can almost move on to cards, but we'll just get this last line here about the army. Alright, so after you've cleaned out your heart of these resentments and grudges, and whatever's going on in there that's interfering with your ability to manifest, you get to line 6. So after you've taken away the corpses, these old, stale resentments and fights, and cleaned up the battle scene, you get line 6. And I'm going to read the whole thing to you, because I just feel to, okay? I just feel like this is, because it's good, you'll see. Line 6. The great prince issues commands, found states, vests families, and with fiefs, inferior people should not be employed. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot here about the company you're keeping. If people are pissing you off, just avoid them, right? Don't get into businesses. Try not to work for them if you don't have to. But certainly don't employ anyone who's of inferior character, because it's going to cost you. This line shows how the collective ego succeeds in extending its power through employing only those who operate within its system. So it's talking about the matrix again. The matrix. It can likewise be taken as referring to the individual ego when it believes it has won a battle against the ego in another. I'll just read the top line again. The great prince issues commands, founds states, vests families with fiefs, inferior people should not be employed. Okay, yeah. The sage uses the metaphor of the great prince to mean that the true self, when it has won the battle over the ego and has assumed its rightful place in the personality. Okay, so some of this stuff has been happening because your ego's been running your personality. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you've been arrogant. It could be your ego telling you that you're not good enough, or that something's always going to be this way. I mean, the ego tends to be negative. It's always going to be this way, or it's never going to happen, or when will it ever happen? Don't listen to that monkey mind. Where were we? How the collective ego succeeds in extending its power through employing only those who operate within its system of values. It can likewise be taken as referring to the individual ego when it believes it has won the battle against an ego in another. The sage also uses the metaphor of the great prince to mean the true self when it has won the battle over the ego and assumed its rightful place in the personality. In particular, it refers to the true self, when the person has made the inner effort indicated in the previous lines. He completes his effort by saying a conscious yes to following his inner truth. So that's very important for you, is to follow your inner truth. The states that he founds as a reference to setting correct limits around his inner space so that he does not allow others to encroach into it. So you're allowed to have your space. That seems to be, maybe some of you are having trouble defining your space, like with boundaries or something, and that's interfering with your prosperity or your ability to focus on your work or something like that. He does not allow others to encroach into it. At the same time, he respects the inner space of others. He also applies the same limits to himself in regard to animals and nature by repudiating the human-centered ideas of having rights to manipulate them in distinction to cooperating with them. Well, I don't need to explain that to my vegan friends. You all get that fundamental principle straight up. That's why you're vegan. Because you don't have the right to use other conscious sentient beings by force. The families who receive fiefs is a metaphor for the conscious validation of a person's metaphorical senses. Through saying the inner yes to them, they are freed from the ego's oppression and imprisonment, thus are able to occupy their true homes in the personality. Inferior people should not be employed is a warning against allowing ego elements to return by small and subtle suggestions that the help received from the sage and the helpers was not the real cause of the improved situation. That means you've got to thank the sage for the help and the cosmic helpers for the help that they give you, and not forget that you were helped. Not get all arrogant and cocky and egotistical and claim it as your own achievement. You achieved it in cooperation with the help of the cosmos, and that's part of remaining humble so that you don't lose your gifts. Like if you get arrogant, they'll just be snatched away from you again, because the cosmos likes harmony, and if you get too egotistical and arrogant, then you create disharmony, so the cosmos has to take your gifts away. It is a warning against allowing ego elements to return by small and subtle suggestions that the help received from the sage and the helpers was not the real cause of the improved situation. It is that they try to rationalize things away by suggestions such as, the situation simply got better by itself. Only through the help of the sage and the helpers can the false elements that invade and take over the psyche can be defeated. When this line refers to the ego in a person, which believes it has won an outer battle against the ego in another, it warns that inferior people have been employed and the gains won by such means cannot endure. While history provides us of many obvious examples of the rise of dictators, it also provides us with details of their inevitable fall. The fall of the ego is cosmic law. It is only a matter of time. The same dynamic takes place in every ego-dominated relationship. Okay, so, and then the next hexagram you got was 18, which is basically about repair. It's like 3 days before and 3 days after repair. So what I'm getting from that is, and then you got forgiveness on top of that. So there's some conflict here. There's some unhealed conflict that even if they don't deserve it, you're gonna have to sort of forgive them for yourself. Not to say that you allow that whoever did this shitty thing to get away with it or whatever. It's just like not carrying around that horrible feeling in your heart, because that's stopping you from manifesting. So finding a way to, just go, well, I didn't like what they did, but, finding a way to forgive them for yourself. Not because they deserve it, but for yourself. So, they may, maybe they do genuinely deserve forgiveness. Maybe they didn't do anything wrong. I don't know what your situation is. But the thing here is that some sort of anger or resentment or some ego thing has happened that's interfered with your manifestation. And it could be as simple as somebody you had an argument with at the last workplace, and you need to let go of that anger so that you can energetically free up and see the good things that await you. Whatever you lost, you were supposed to lose. That's quite clear. So I'm going to guess, just a guesstimation, it's going to take you about a week or something to work out who to forgive and why and how, and where your ego got in on the story and was telling you stuff from the matrix false beliefs that got in the way of you upgrading your skills and doing what you wanted to do or whatever. It's getting in the way of your money. Your matrix beliefs are the main thing that's holding you back, and they're also what's upsetting your ego. So there's ego stuff to be worked through, which will bring you back in harmony with the cosmos, and so your opportunities can start flowing, basically. All right. I will get some more cards out. Let's see, we were told to take a couple of cards from this deck. So we'll do that. Show me one card that's helpful for my collective. We'll do a helpful and not so helpful, okay? Helpful for my young fellas to catch their money, to find the money. Where's the money, Lord? What's going to help them get towards their money? What is helpful for my young fellas? Gratitude, you got. That's fairly obvious. I should have said that right at the beginning. Be grateful for what you do have. That will attract more. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. Okay, so gratitude is helping you get closer to your abundance, your money, your manifestation. What is not helping, dear sage? What is holding my young fellas back from their manifestation? What is not needed right now as much? Judgment, it came out upside down. So negative judgments about somebody or something or some situation. Some negative judgment going on here, and that's getting in the way. Something you've judged wrongly or that you're hanging on to. You need to instead focus on what you're grateful for. Okay. Next. Lunar Oracle. I'm going to go through this next lot fairly quickly. Lunar Oracle. What is helpful for my collective, for their highest good, to find their manifestation, their money, their work opportunities, their abundance, their cash? What is helpful, my dear sage? It says, when you put yourself center stage, it's easier to see the next step. Okay, so are you centering someone else? And that's why you're not getting that? You need to center yourself. That seems to relate to me about boundaries and stuff too. You're allowed to put yourself first. Okay. What's not helping at the minute? Because, it might be helpful later on. But right now, what is not helping my young fellas get to their money? upside down, whatever it is. When you step outside your comfort zone, progress is made, and it came out upside down. So it says you're not stepping outside your comfort zone, all right? Probably because you've judged something about it, or I don't know. Put yourself first. Step outside your comfort zone. Okay. What else can we do? Let's get I was told specifically to pull some of these. Okay. What will we do with these ones? Okay, we'll just keep going with helpful and not so helpful. Okay, on the helpful side, for the highest good of these young fellas looking for their money, what is helpful, dear sage? We'll pull two. What's helpful? The whip. That's an unpleasant card. That's not a good card. But it's upside down. The whip is about gossip, I think. So no gossiping. Pay no heed to people's gossip and projections. What's helpful? Okay, the owl. You have to be wise. What is it? This is a warning. It's saying stay alert. Watch out for deception. Okay, maybe that's, why there's some tension there and some forgiveness needed. Or something. Somebody's being deceptive. Oh, the whip is strife, quarrels and punishment. And it's upside down. So it's saying stay away from quarrels and strife. Negative gossip and stuff. Okay, so what's positive is to stay away from strife and arguing. And you've got an owl here, which makes it not a chirpy bird, chatter and gossip. You might hear something like, that's actually not a nice card at all. It's come out as helpful. So how does that work? Maybe you overhear some nasty gossip, which gives you a crucial clue about somebody around you. Or you realise that they're nasty gossips and you don't want to be near that. Maybe that's the negative projections. You need to put yourself first and go, no, I'm not taking on your negative projections, your quarrels, your strife, your nasty gossip. What I'm hearing is that you're going to overhear something that gives you a tip off of something to be wary of. You might overhear something. Maybe about them gossiping about you or something. You need to realise it. I don't like this, Sage. Can you please... I'm going to take another card. Why are you giving me nasty gossip and quarrels on the positive side? That just doesn't seem right. But I guess it's working... Because all things work towards your good. Maybe... that's what makes you lose the previous situation, is that you realise that there's nasty gossip and fighting and you go, well, that's why I don't need to be there. Sage, why is this helpful? Love. It came out upside down. I think it's just saying realise what is not love. What is not helpful. I mean, I'm going to say rejection is protection. This nasty situation being over is your protection. That's how I'm going to read it. What's not so helpful? The full moon. Not so helpful. Not so helpful. This is the full moon. Not so helpful. Sickness that doesn't get better. Someone not getting better. A prolonged sickness. What's not helpful? Marriage. It's not time to get married yet. You might not have come across the right partner quite yet. It's not the time. All right. What else can we look at? We'll have some tarot cards. Let's see. On the helpful side. Where is the money, Sage? Well, how do they get closer to their money? We'll wrap this up in a couple of minutes. How do they get closer to their money, Sage? Where's the money? What's helpful in getting closer to the money? Novice of Wands. He's building a fire. Okay, so applying a bit of energy, I'd say. A bit of energy and action. Starting the fire, getting it going. What's helpful? Or maybe that's a good person for you to work with, is another Novice of Wands. Might have a good workmate there. Helpful, please. Dear Sage, show us something that's helpful. Novice of Swords. These are the two cards I pulled out was the reading before last, in the same order. Okay, so maybe there's a couple of friends here who you can trust. Or they're just aspects of yourself. And an Elder of Pentacles. Okay, so an older man with money, a young man who's a good thinker, and a young man who's warm and got plenty of energy. I'm going to take that if that's not you, then you've got a couple of good friends you can trust. There is a couple of good friends and an older man with money that are on your side. What's not helpful here? The truth. The Ace of Swords is not helpful. How does that work? Maybe it's just not what you want to hear. Elemental of Wands. So Komodo dragon. Not helpful is running away. Like, that's usually a helpful card. So there's a bit of, it's a bit odd. They're going to safety away from the fire there, but this is on the not helpful side. So maybe it's not time to go just yet. There might be some things to do before going. I don't know. Let's see what else. Let's get some more clues. Okay, crystals on the helpful side. Well, it's good to see you've got a few allies here at least. You've at least got one older man with money, or, you know, male energy with money who's on your side. You've got at least one. It could be you, but you've at least got one good thinking friend and a friend who's got energy and warmth. Helpful, please, Sage. Okay, yeah. Clear communication, calm communication. Okay, so yeah, it's helpful not to get into fights. It's got to really help for you not to get in any fights. There's all this gossip and stuff there. You're going to have to stay calm. It'll be very helpful to stay calm while all that gossip and... What was it? Gossip and strife and quarrels. Stay calm, keep your ears open. What's not so helpful is Ruby, which is all about sexual passion, really. So, yeah, maybe if you're trying to get onto money, then, you know, getting all passionate is going to take you in another direction. You need to stay cool, calm and collected if money's what you want. Okay. Okay, we'll just take helpful from here. Show me, please, 2 helpful elements. 2 helpful elements. And we'll say goodbye. Life breath. Helpful. Keep breathing. One more that's helpful. Transformation and pressure. So all this pressure you're under is causing a transformation for you. Okay, collective, I think that the money's there. It's just that there's something that's some ego, false beliefs that the matrix put in you that's getting in the way, and a bit of anger and resentment or something, you know, it might be perfectly justified, whatever it is, from all this, probably from this, you know, there's been a bit of strife, gossip and quarrelling here, and someone's annoyed you somewhere or along the way, and you're going to have to forgive them and let go of false beliefs. Probably, I'm just hearing beliefs in lack. It's like if you trust in the abundance of the universe, then losing something along the way won't be so hurtful because you can get more. Whereas if you believe that the universe is not abundance, then the losses hurt a lot more than if you believe the universe is abundant, then the losses don't hurt as much, is what I meant to say. If you believe that the universe is stingy, then every loss hurts more because there's not enough to go around. But the true cosmos is very abundant, and you can't be separated from what's yours except by false beliefs. And the false beliefs are given to you by the matrix, basically. You know, they make a real effort to program them into you since you were little. So don't blame yourself for it. And even as you try and break free from these false beliefs, that's what I'm getting. These, where are they? That's probably the strife that you're coming up against. Is not only do you have to fight within yourself to break the false beliefs, but sometimes you start breaking them within yourself, and then the matrix comes back at you and tries to gossip about you or start a fight with you or something to try and get you to go back to the matrix and their beliefs. So I think now I'm seeing it. Just recognize it for what it is. That's the matrix's way of trying to keep you in the slave paradigm. You know, gossiping and projecting and casting spells on you about you shouldn't do it this way or shouldn't that. It doesn't work this way. It's always that way. You can never do this. You can't do that. No, 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 no. All those false gossips and friction and everything the matrix puts on you, all these limitations, gets you annoyed. You know, it is annoying. But if you get carried away with that annoyance and everything, that's going to interfere with your heart, which helps you to manifest. So you have to forgive them. Forgive these annoying NPCs and matrix people for trying to do matrixy BS to you. If you lost love, that was your protection, because it says, you know, whoever you lost here in love, they were quarrelling and gossipy. So it is no loss. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. Haha, I see it now. Okay, someone's gone out of your life and it's not a loss. They were costing you energy, money, emotion, all this bitching and quarrel. Like, you have lost someone out of your life and there's no love lost. That's what I'm getting. See, because it was on your positive side, that's what I'm getting. No love lost. You maybe felt like it at the time or whatever, but you're going to see that was actually all this, whoever this was, who hurt your heart, who was gossiping and quarrelling and causing dramas. There's no love lost. They were losing them brings you closer to your money. They were creating bad energy in your field. Now, where you can process the thing and forgive them, whether they were a love or an employer or a workmate or whatever, whoever they were, forgive them not because they deserve it, but so that you can move on into your own abundance. Because once you get rid of the matrix beliefs that they keep, and they will try and put them back on you. You'll throw them off and the matrix will come along and go, no, here's your belief, have it back. No, you can't do it like that. You've got to do it like this. So you got to no, matrix. F off with your stupid matrix ideas. Time is not linear. Abundance is unlimited, and humans aren't the center of the universe, and those 6 things that we went through. Oh, we'll just go through it one more time, shall we? Those false beliefs. We'll just go one more time before we log out here. The false beliefs that you've got to deprogram to get back to your abundance are... Where are they? So, we'll just go, we'll just do these. These are false, remember? You deprogram these and your money gets much closer to you. So, humans are at the center of the universe. False. Changes are the rule of life. False. That's because everything that's in harmony with the cosmos endures. Nature operates through opposite forces to propel changes. No, that's false. It's through complementary. Time is linear. False. Having a beginning and an end. The universe works on mechanical principles. False. The cosmos has a hierarchical order. False. So, right. So you're deprogramming those ideas so that you can get back in harmony with the cosmos where your money is. It's all there. It's actually, you have everything that you need, and it said that right at the beginning, that not to think that you're incapable or anything, that you actually have everything you need inside of you. You may need to, work on some skill development or something, some study, but everything that you need in terms of inner resources are there with it. You have all you need in terms of inner resources to achieve what you want. Just have to let go of these past hurts. Whatever's being taken from you, it's just freeing you up. You didn't need it. Let's throw the dice. One last happy thing to tell them, dear sage. Oh, they're going to breathe and know that this pressure is causing a transformation. So just breathe through it. One last thing to tell them. Oh, that's about a deal. That somebody's going to make you an offer or a deal. Yeah. That's it. All right. That's our I Ching investigation. What's getting in the way of your money is false ideas that the matrix put there. So you deprogram them and clean up the mess, because 18 is repairing the damage. Hexagram 18 repairing the damage. So your heart's been hurt. Somebody's stuffed you around in some way or another, bitching, carrying on, gossiping, fighting, whatever. It's hurt your heart. Now you have to deprogram these matrix beliefs and heal your heart and have confidence in yourself because it's told you here you have everything you need. And then you're just going to basically, all that pressure and everything is going to lift off you. And it's going to be like you're going to be lifted up by the cosmic helpers once you've done that deprogramming. I think this is positive because it puts the power back in your hands, collective. Your fate is in your hands. It's not, you can overcome your circumstances according to this. The main thing getting in the way of you and your money is a few false ideas. So once you reprogram them and clean up the mess of this heartache or fight or whatever it was, things should start moving forward for you surely and steadily. It's like a steady increase kind of thing, just like a tree growing, sure and steady. It's good. It's good. It's good. There's no problem for you. Oh, let's couple of words because they're here. Just a couple of words, a couple of clues. Helpful, please, for my young men to find their money. We have a new beginning. And is it true? So that's what you've got to ask yourself. Is it true? Every time you hear yourself going, this never happens, or it's going to take forever, or whatever, go, is it true? Is that really true? That's why you've got to keep asking yourself when you hear that inner voice and you go, blah, 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 being negative or whatever, go, is it true? Is that really true? Is that a cosmic law or not? Is that a false belief the Matrix gave me? And you're going to find something that you tell yourself and you're going to deprogram it and things are going to get better after that. All right. Also, 2 more words, please. This moment. This moment is auspicious. And work. Go to work now, collective. Go to work now on your new beginning. And deprogramming. You're going to be right. You're going to be right, my collective. You have an excellent time. I'm glad to tell you the good news. It's all good from here once you deprogram. Happy cash stacking.